What would happen if Korea united into one country? What if one of the most divided nations on Earth suddenly became whole again? Imagine a unified Korea, a single flag flying over Seoul and Pyongyang, two very different systems merging into one. Would it spark an economic miracle? Or could it unleash chaos on a global scale? In this video, we'll explore what might happen if North and South Korea finally reunited, politically, economically, and socially. From the impact on global power dynamics to the everyday lives of Koreans, the consequences would be massive. Korea was historically one nation. That changed after World War II, when the peninsula was split at the 38th parallel, the Soviet-backed North and the US-backed South. The Korean War from 1950 to 1953 cemented that division. The war killed millions, but ended in stalemate, leaving a heavily militarized border, the DMZ. Since then, the two states have evolved in opposite directions. South Korea became a democratic, capitalist power with global reach. North Korea became an isolated, authoritarian state with nuclear weapons. The division has persisted for over 70 years, shaping not just Korean lives, but the entire balance of power in East Asia. If unification occurred, the political transition would be complex. The most likely scenario is not a merger of equals, but absorption, the South system overwhelming the North's. Few believe the Kim regime would survive in a true reunification. This immediately alters great power politics. The United States would lose its justification for maintaining nearly 30,000 troops in South Korea. Would they leave? If so, Washington's regional influence would decline. China would lose its buffer state. A unified Korea aligned with the US would be Beijing's nightmare. Japan would face a stronger Korea, with historical rivalries complicating relations. Russia, with its small border with North Korea, would seek influence, but remain a minor player. Unification would force every power in Asia to recalculate. Economically, the disparity between North and South is extreme. South Korea ranks among the top 15 economies globally, with advanced technology and high living standards. North Korea, in contrast, has a GDP smaller than many medium-sized cities in the South. Unification would require enormous investment. German reunification cost trillions. Korea's case would likely be worse, given the North's deep poverty and isolation. But the North also offers opportunities, rich deposits of coal, iron, and rare earth minerals, a large, underutilized labor force, strategic land routes linking Korea directly to China and Russia. If managed effectively, a unified Korea could, within decades, rival Japan and Germany in economic weight. But the transition would be painful, slow, and politically destabilizing. The military implications are even greater. Combined, the two Koreas field over 1 million soldiers. North Korea's army is large, but outdated. South Korea's is technologically advanced. Together, they would create one of the most formidable forces in Asia. But the critical issue is nuclear weapons. North Korea possesses dozens of warheads. In reunification, these weapons would need to be dismantled, absorbed, or handed over. The process would trigger global negotiations with China, the US, and Russia, all demanding oversight. If denuclearized successfully, a unified Korea could emerge as a major conventional power, backed by South Korea's advanced military industries. If mishandled, the nuclear question could destabilize the entire region. Unification would not happen in a vacuum. Each major power would respond differently. China loses its buffer state and risks US influence on its border. It might demand neutrality from a unified Korea or even intervene to shape the outcome. United States gains a democratic ally but loses its military outpost. Washington might accept withdrawal in exchange for Korean alignment against China. Japan gains a powerful neighbor and competitor. Historical animosity could resurface, even as both face pressure from China. Russia would try to expand rail and energy ties, but its influence would remain limited compared to China and the US. A united Korea would instantly become a regional power, too large to ignore, too independent to control. On the global stage, a unified Korea would shift balances far beyond Asia. It could join the top 10 economies within a generation, expand its influence through culture, trade, and technology, challenge Japan for leadership in East Asia's middle power tier, force the US and China to adapt their grand strategies. Instead of a divided, vulnerable peninsula, the world would face a consolidated, powerful Korean state with both economic and military weight. Amid geopolitics, we must not overlook people. Millions of families remain divided. For them, reunification would be more than strategy. It would be personal. Yet the cultural divide between North and South after 70 years would make integration difficult. Even Germany, decades after reunification, still faces divisions. Korea's case would be deeper and harder. If you found this breakdown of Korean unification insightful, imagine what other global power shifts are shaping our world today. Subscribe to Balance of Power and turn on notifications, because understanding the world's strategic chessboard isn't just interesting, it's essential. And don't forget to like and share. The more people who understand the balance of power, the closer we get to seeing the world clearly. Thanks for watching.